Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is currently retesting this critical area on the price chart after just recently confirming a breakout here in the short term, as the price is now starting to lose bullish momentum here in the short term, while Ethereum is still playing out this bullish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red. So over the last 1 day, nothing has really changed on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the 2-day Bitcoin chart, at least for now, we're still within this larger bearish trend. But of course, we're playing out a short-term bounce from this major line of support right here, which is still sitting at approximately 52,500. And so overall, on the larger time frames, not much has really changed here on the bigger picture. But if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, we're seeing a little bit more bullish price action here in the DXY, which is actually a slight bearish signal to pay attention to for the price of Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, what we've just now seen over the last 1 day is an actual confirmed breakout above this short-term area of resistance, which was sitting in between around 56 to 57,000. And previously, this was support for the price of Bitcoin, but was acting as a bit of resistance over the last couple of days here. And so now that this has happened, this is actually our first proper bullish signal that we have in terms of the momentum, at least in the short term for the market right now. And so for as long as we hold this area as new support, it's likely that we'll now soon head up towards the next area of resistance. First of all, we should have resistance at just above 59,000, closer towards 59,500. And above that, we have a major area of resistance in between around 60 to 61,000 approximately, based on previous significant support now acting as new resistance. And once again, 56 to 57,000 should now be acting as new support in case we see any sort of short-term pullback right here. But if we actually break back below 56,000, obviously that would be another short-term bearish signal, basically pointing towards the continuation of the larger bearish trend. And so if I had to compare this situation right now to a previous situation that we can see on this chart right here, I would compare it to what we saw back here during basically the first half of May, where we basically saw, first of all, back in April, a major dump to the downside and then a major initial bounce from support. But then we actually broke out above some key resistance, which was previous support. We broke out back above that area on the chart and then ultimately flipped that area into new support, which was a bullish signal, at least in the short term, resulting in a continued bullish move to the upside. But it is worth noting that all of that still technically occurred within this larger bearish trend, as we could see right here. That was just a bullish move within a larger bearish trend, like what we saw here and here, for example. But now that we have broken out above this area on the price chart, for as long as we remain above that area and actually hold that as new support, like what we saw back here in the first half of May, there is actually a good chance that in the coming days or weeks, like what we saw in the rest of May, we could end up seeing a little bit more of a bullish relief to the upside, at least up towards the next major areas of resistance. And so once again, right now, I'll be focusing on around 59,500 and then around 60 to 61,000 as major resistance. And only if we can start breaking out back above 61,000, then in that case, I'd start expecting a move up towards around 64,500. But obviously, as of right now, we still need to focus on around 59 to 60,000 initially as the initial resistance to pay attention to. But with that being said, even though we've started to break out above some key resistance here in the short term, which is a bullish signal to pay attention to, if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, we can see that just over the last 1 day, despite the latest breakout, we are starting to lose a bit of this short-term bullish momentum, because despite the price making new higher highs in the candle closes here, we've actually seen relatively horizontal highs, at least as of right now, in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is a form of a bearish divergence, but it's not a traditional bearish divergence, but it is basically a signal telling us that we're losing a bit of bullish momentum just in the short term here. And of course, if the price of Bitcoin continues more of a bullish move in the immediate short term, that will quickly pull the RSI up towards overbought territories, because right now we are getting very close to overbought territories, at least on the 4-hour time frame. And so very soon, I do expect a bit of a slowdown in the price of Bitcoin in terms of this bullish move right here, whether it's right now or after we see a little bit more of a bullish move to the upside. I do expect some sort of slowdown in this bullish momentum very soon in the coming days for the price of Bitcoin. But it is worth paying attention to important liquidation levels, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 or some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT, or even a trip to an F1 race just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitget, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitget, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, you can access Bitget, but you might not be able to access Bybit. And so I'll leave a link to Bitget down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if you use that link down below this video, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitget exchange forever, but only if you use that link below this video to make your Bitget account. And so as another option out there, other than Bybit, once again, there's Bitget, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we still have a decent amount of liquidity to the upside, sitting at approximately 58,500, give or take, which I mentioned in my last video. We still have some liquidity right around there, around 58,500, and so it is likely that the price could potentially come back up to just take out that liquidity before potentially starting to slow down here in the short term. And so what that would look like, for example, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but what that would look like, for example, is perhaps a slight move to the upside just to take out that liquidity, and then a little bit more of a slowdown, possibly with some sort of bearish divergence starting to form here. But for as long as we're holding above this area on the price chart, above 56 to 57,000, things are still looking okay just in the short term in terms of the shorter term momentum in the market right now. Once again, if we break back below 56,000, that would be bad news in the short term. But once again, based on where the price of Bitcoin is sitting at least at the time of recording this video, things are starting to look a little bit more bullish in terms of the momentum for as long as we can hold above this area right here. But I do expect a bit of a slowdown either way in the coming days. Because once again, if we're looking at what we saw back here during May, after we saw that breakout to the upside, looking more bullish in terms of the shorter term momentum, we did actually see a bit of a cool down during that bullish movement, basically retesting this previous resistance to flip it into new support again, further confirming the breakout. So keep that in mind. Obviously, prices do not often move in a straight line. We see moves like that, for example, along the way. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now we're still holding above this major area of support, sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2k. So at least for now, once again, as I've been saying on the channel, I do expect the price to continue holding above this area of support right here, considering the significance of that area of support as I've explained in recent videos here on the channel. And I expect the price to hold above that area at least for the coming days, or most likely over the next few weeks. But just because we're running into major support and holding above major support, that's not necessarily a bullish trend reversal signal for the larger bearish trend. So at least as of right now, we're technically still within the bearish trend, because at least for now, we are technically still seeing lower highs and lower lows, which is bearish price structure here on the 3-day time frame. But like I just said, during the bearish trend, we can see these periods of short-term bullish reliefs or sideways consolidations during the bearish trend. So I do expect that at least for the next few days or weeks, as the price is holding above this major area of support. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, this is coinciding very well with what we're seeing right here, which is basically a massive bullish divergence playing out on the daily time frame, which I've been talking about over the last half a week or so. And so as I've already been saying over the last half a week, we should be expecting either a slight bullish relief here in the short term, or at least a bit of choppy sideways price action as the most likely scenarios in the coming days or weeks. And so obviously what we've seen over the last half a week or so is this bullish divergence so far playing out exactly as expected, and I continue to expect this type of price action at least for the next few days or weeks once again, because usually a bullish divergence on the daily time frame plays out over a couple of weeks or so before it starts starts losing relevance. And alongside the price also playing out this bullish divergence on the daily time frame, we're also bouncing from those oversold territories here in the 12-hour Ethereum RSI, which I've also mentioned basically every day here on the channel over the last half a week to nearly 1 week now. And so obviously back then, around half a week to 1 week ago, when we were in oversold territories, that was telling us that we're basically at some sort of local low in the price, and we're due to see some sort of bounce in the coming days, like what we've seen in all of these previous examples when the RSI entered into oversold territories on the 12-hour time frame. But it is important to mention that this is not necessarily a bullish trend reversal signal, because obviously during these bullish signals right here, ultimately we still remained within this larger bearish trend. But once again, during that larger bearish trend, we can see the occasional bullish relief or bounce back to the upside in the shorter term during the trend. So that's basically what we're seeing right now, just a bit of a break or a relief from the trend, but not necessarily the end or the reversal of the trend. And as for short-term resistance to watch out for, we do have a bit of resistance that we've just run into right now at around 2.4k, give or take, and we have more resistance at around 2550 and a lot more resistance close to 2.8k based on previous significant resistance and support in the price. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, at least for now, we're still perfectly playing out this bullish divergence. As I've said over the last few days, this is most likely going to result in a slight bullish relief or at least a bit of choppy sideways price action in the coming days or weeks. And so far, we've seen exactly that. But at the time of recording this video, we've seen pretty much a perfect rejection to the dollar from this exact area of resistance that I've also been talking about here on the channel over the last few days before we saw this rejection, once again sitting in between 138 to 143, and so far we've seen a rejection at pretty much exactly 138. And so as of right now, we don't really have a lot of bullish momentum in the market for now for the price of Solana, but we're still seeing an active bullish divergence, which means the price is likely going to remain range bound within this support and this resistance. Once again, this resistance in between 138 to 143, and we still have major support right here in between around 120 to 128. And other than that, not much has really changed on this chart right here over the last 1 day for the price of Solana. So as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.